Friends, this is Biman Gandhi. I welcome the viewers of Business Mantra here. I'm happy to have an interaction with yet another Marathi entrepreneur today. Business Mantra always comes out with various initiatives, and one such initiative is Marathi Paul Pude. I'm Biman Gandhi. I'm a business coach, and I like interacting with people who are at different stages of entrepreneurship. Today, we have one such entrepreneur, Mr. Samir Gokhale, who is the founder of Gempot Technologies, and I'm really happy to have an interaction with him. He is a technocrat himself. He brings combination of experience with him. Uh, Samir has spent number of years in IT industries. During his corporate career, he left remarkable impression in the areas of business development and delivery profiles. Mr. Gokhale has worked in both India as well as North America and with some of the frontline brands. Just to name a few, TCS, Wipro, Lucent Technologies, and Bell Communication. Samir, welcome to this special episode of Marathi Paul Pude.
Thank you, Biman. It's my pleasure to be part of it. Thank you.
Right. Samir, before we jump on your business details, I'm more curious about your professional journey. And later, of course, I would like to know how did you pick up entrepreneurship?
Okay. Uh, yeah, so Biman, I'm from Mumbai. Had done BE Computer Engineering from Mumbai University. In the initial part of the career, spent about 5 years with TCS.
Mhm.
That's where actually I got into the field of telecommunication software. Now,
Okay.
telecom in India that time actually was very new. Means in fact, what we knew about the telecom is you apply for the landline, which you get after 10 years, or if you're a doctor, you get in 5 years.
Mhm.
So beyond that, what you can do career in telecom was not known. But while working with the American partners, we started coming to know about the advancements in telecom, and a lot of innovations were happening. So it it became part of my career through TCS, and then independently. I got a chance to work for some prominent companies
Mhm.
like Bell Communications, Northern Telecom, AT&T in USA. Seeing that this field is kind of booming, opportunities exist in that. I did my master's in telecom management in University from Stevens.
Mhm.
Uh, and then afterwards, I worked with Wipro for almost 7 years before quitting that and starting the Jampot Technologies.
Mhm.
So that's kind of part of the initial career. I had always liking towards doing something of my own. So even after engineering, while doing the job, I had started my own kind of work in the desktop publishing. That time, there were a lot of new softwares were coming in the multilingual kind of area, where
Mhm.
you can actually type in the different Indian languages, and that was actually a new in the industry. Page making, Corel Draw designing, etc. also was kind of coming up as a new area, which I was liking. So I was doing that also as I was doing the job, and I stopped only when I actually left for USA. But always kind of there was something in mind that I should start something on my own.
Mhm.
Uh, it took almost 15 to 17 years because career wise there the field was also interesting to actually be part of the overall this large kind of companies
Mhm.
and see the technology from close. So but probably after working for 15 17 years, I again started feeling that probably this is the time. And then I found a business colleague, who is my partner also, Nilesh Apte,
Right.
where we had some common thoughts and probably thought this is the time, if not now, then when we can have our own kind of an enterprise. So I just decided to jump uh,
Right.
to start my own company.
Okay. All right. So I think 15 to 17 years, in my opinion, having interacted with lots of entrepreneur, I think it's the most optimum number of years of experience in a particular domain. So by that time you get quite a good grip on the subject. You know about whether it's technology or something else. But then it also kind of gives you a confidence. So I think
Right.
I think you took a right decision at right time. But before starting the business, I'm sure there will be lots of thoughts coming in your mind, and those thoughts then taking a shape of a particular idea, a very profound idea, and then you decide that okay, this is something that I would like to do something on my own, like you said, and then finally it gets converted into some formidable business concept. How did it happen in your case, Samir?
Yeah. So yes, Miss, this is always the interesting phase. When you come across some business idea. So while working itself and in Wipro, we had some customers and the customer technology that we were working, and that was a trading floor telephony.
Mhm.
It was part of the latest technology in telecom being used in the treasuries of the banks and financial institutions. Now,
Mhm.
just to explain a little bit, the money that we invest with the banks and financial institutions gets invested continuously by the treasury team
Mhm.
of these institutions,
Yeah.
and they need the very sophisticated technology or instruments to actually continuously doing it. So I came across while working with this companies this technology which existed in some forms, but we also saw that there is a scope to actually bring this technology in India.
Okay.
Now, technology existed in some form, like in old technology form, but we saw the opportunity in actually getting this latest technology. And at the same time, we were also seeing the stock market is also transforming and into the next generation. So
Mhm.
we thought banks and the financial institutions who will be our end customers will also go for this technology transformation, and that could be our potential customers. So we of course there was a discussion happening for almost a year, whether it has a scope to actually do it by quitting the job, or just be on the other side of it and
Right.
handle the customers as we see it. But I think, as I said, I was reaching the situation where if I want to start something, then probably
Mhm.
this is the time. So probably both things matched, and yeah, I think also it helped, having some experience, that industry experience that you have taken to take this jump, and we started it.
Yeah, I can understand that. There must have been lots of butterflies in your stomach, you and your partner both, before taking a plunge.
Correct.
Because on one hand, you are very safe, like you said, in your own words, that you were part of a corporate, really enjoying that kind of a glamorous career. But after thinking for about a year or so, when you really took the plunge, how confident you were about your business idea?
Yeah. So to begin with, we were very confident, and I have to be kind of, uh, telling you the phase that time, frankly. Uh, we thought, and we or I thought, I have the good experience of 15-16 years of generating business or doing business with overseas company internationally, and I should be able to replicate the same thing in India or with Indian companies. But that was a different. I soon realized that it is much more different and difficult to do the business in India. uh, Business idea was strong, business idea was very much there, but taking the same thing to with the Indian customers, it was a whole lot of learning, which is good. Miss, I learned a lot in that phase, that yes, you have something that you have earned as a experience, but that's not it. There was a whole lot of learning as a Indian industry, I could learn. uh, and yes, it was an initial struggle to get the things together as a company.
Right.
But then I think then we were confident about the technology and the solutions that we were using, and then the things slowly started picking up.
Yeah. Samir, I have an interesting question, but before I really ask you that question, typically what happens is people like you who decides to take a plunge, leave that corporate career, leave it behind, and then start with a confidence. Like you said, you guys were pretty confident about it. So that's fantastic. But what you are confident about, maybe the roles or profiles that you have played, maybe business development, or you also worked a lot in delivery area. So probably those were kind of areas where you gained the mastery. But becoming a business owner requires a whole lot of things. So my question is really, when you really made a beginning, how it was in terms of building the team. Probably you never had to do that, or selling the concept. You probably did it partly, but then you came out with a completely different solution. So and then acquiring first few customers with a company, or let's say a brand which was probably just taking a shape, which was just an infant. It has just taken a birth, not known. So how difficult it was? How was the beginning? I'm really interested to know about it.
Right. Yeah. Yes, it goes through and it went through a lot of iterations. These are not necessarily mistakes, but learn to do the things differently. So, as an initial model in the company, we thought with the knowledge of the technology, we probably will not build our own team, but we will build more of a partner and will grow the skills in their teams to actually perform the activity, by which like actually our ecosystem will be even bigger. We even started with that, but then we realized after some time we acquired some customers during that period. I will talk about that also. But when acquiring customers, we realized that we are not getting the required control on the kind of staff if we are not really employing them. If we are just contracting them, that ownership is not coming into the staff and maybe the associate partners that we are working with. So the initial idea of actually not building our own team and relying on the partner network, we had to change. So that was the first thing. It for initial about 1.5 year, we were relying on that. Second part is like about the acquiring customers. Now, with the kind of initial know-how of the technology, I would say there was not much struggle, or we could be lucky. I would say we could acquire some. A few prominent customers in the early stage. Of course, initial first 6 to 9 months went into struggle to actually tell the prospects that we as an entity exist. We as an entity exist in the competition with the other existing technologies, and why they should actually buy our or go for our product. But we did a lot of legwork. We reached out to them through our partner network. So that's where the partner network definitely helped. We reached out to them to actually first just show the technology, make them believe on it. But I think there was not much initial struggle, that I would say. We could acquire a few good prominent names towards the end of the first year of our existence, and then that gave us the confidence. That gave us the confidence also in such a way that probably we need to build our own team, which I mentioned. So we changed our stance of not only relying on our partners, but then we also started building our team. Now that involved making sure that we have the required trained staff. So we invested in the initial year, also making sure that our staff has the right knowledge. Now, for that, we actually send them to our OEMs in Europe or US to make sure that they get the right knowledge. So that is a kind of initial investments. Probably entrepreneurs would try to hesitate doing it in the early years, but that had helped us tremendously. That gave us they gave the confidence to our employees also, that company is serious about kind of doing this. It gave the confidence to our customers that our staff is well trained and we mean the business. So I think these are some of the, though there was an early struggle, those are some of the first right steps that we have taken, and that I would say had helped.
Yeah. I think kind of teething problems, and we always learn from mistakes. I think, and I think there again, your corporate experience would have helped you a great deal. Samir, what exactly Jumpot Technologies do? What are your products? What are your solutions? What kind of customers do you serve?
Yeah. So our we serve, as I mentioned, the banks and the financial institutions for their treasuries. So this becomes the core of our customer focus. Our solution is a trading floor telephony. So I think the nature I just mentioned that our solution goes to the traders or the dealers. Uh, these are the very highly educated, like MBAs, very well qualified, who knows the market,
Okay.
uh, and who actually continuously investing the huge chunks of the money into various instruments. Instruments in the sense they will be investing in the stocks, mutual funds, commodities, foreign exchange, oil to that matter, different commodities, etc.
Mhm.
So there is a high stakes involved from the institutions, these big banks and financial institutions, because they earn a lot of money by actually continuously investing this amount. Now,
Yeah.
the this happens on a different phone call basis. This is not just working on a computer and placing the order. It involves talking to the different buying entities, selling entities, making sure you got the right price, and right quantity, and do the deal. So the system that we involve, it actually gets very complex. It involves multi-party kind of involvement,
Mhm.
and the very key part is during the trading hours of those 8 to 10 hours, absolutely everything has to work perfectly.
Yeah.
Nothing can go wrong. So these banks, the banks and the financial institutions, they have made sure that the systems that we deploy, or we have to make sure the systems that we have deployed are duplicated. Like
Mhm.
if one system goes down due to any reason, second system should take over. Uh, there are some SEBI norms to be managed. So all the transactions
Mhm.
that they actually do needs to be recorded and preserved. Not only preserved now, but it should be preserved for next 3 to 7 years.
Mhm.
So it involves a lot of storage. Now, what if the situation happens like flooding some areas, or like not able to work in that areas? Then we
Right.
have to make sure that there is a disaster recovery site. The
Mhm.
traders should be able to go to the different location and
Mhm.
continue the operation.
Mhm.
What if even the bigger area kind of has a problem? So if like Mumbai has a problem, can the traders actually operate from Chennai and do it?
Mhm.
So this is very important in this business. Now you must have realized during even this pandemic, the stock market wasn't closed even for a single day.
Yeah.
So that's how this actually market functions, and that's why we have to make sure, and they are also looking for that, how we can continue our business without any disruption. And that's how the systems become very critical. Our support to these customers is very stringent. We That's why have to be located within say 30 minutes of reachability. If anything kind of goes wrong, we should reach their offices very quickly, or start handling their problems remotely. So
Mhm.
these are the kind of sensitivities of the business, but probably we knew it. We made sure that we created the framework to support it.
All right, Samir. So you talked about trading telephony solutions. I think this is something which probably not many people may have heard of. That's my belief. So obviously, when we talk about Jumpot Technologies and we talk about a product or a solution which probably not many people have heard of, the obvious thing is whether there are any competitors. Or let me rephrase my question. When you
Mhm.
entered the market, how was the competitive landscape and how it is today?
Yeah. So that's a good question. Uh, we entered the market knowing about the competition, and as any technology, competition did exist already. In fact, it existed from the very established players.
Mhm.
Some of the name is like a British Telecom.
Yeah, so
Uh,
international players.
international players and also a few local players.
Mhm.
Uh, the difference that we knew is established technologies were established companies were using the old technology,
Okay.
and there was a scope for actually complete technology transformation. The solution that we have been working or we have been proposing was the state of art latest technology.
Mhm.
So we were confident about uh, the technology, but of course that was a lot of kind of selling was required in terms of convincing the traders who are mainly focused on the business and not necessarily that much of a use of a different technology.
Mhm.
So we had to do our initial groundwork to actually convince them about the advantages that they would get, the productivity gains that they would achieve, and which in turn would actually translate into doing the better business. So that was definitely a task that we had to do in the initial years to convince the players to move from the old technology to the new technology. Now, we over the last 5 years we acquired one client at a time, uh, and like these are the prominent names. I can take a few
Mhm.
names like HDFC Bank, Kotak Mahindra Bank, HDFC Mutual Funds, Union Bank, Canara Bank. So these are the prestigious names that we
Yeah.
could acquire, uh, which were not the greenfield type of opportunities. Greenfield
Mhm.
means they were already using our competitors' technology. So convincing them to actually move away from the old technology and adapt to our technology was definitely a task, but that we could do successfully. In 5 to 6 years, we could see the success step by step. And presently, I can actually claim that we are the leaders in the Indian market. So that's the achievement that kind of we could do by putting the focus on the technological changes.
Okay. All right. So these technological transformation that you talked about, that some of the international players who were using slightly old technology, and you brought about some technological transformation. Did that also become your USP and remains your USP?
That's true. It remains our USP, but only technological changes, doesn't help over the years.
Yeah.
So it was supported definitely by creating a good, strong team that would be available to support. Because we also have the foreign collaborations, but when you're selling in India or supporting in India, customers would or always ask, who is there on the ground, how I will get the support, how soon you can fix the problem if it arises, if the technology providers exist from outside. So these are the typical question for which we have to be ready with the
Hmm.
answer, and of course supported by the strong team and prove it. So we did that. As I mentioned, we invested in the skills to create the good pool of the trained engineers, and so the technology supported with the good ground level support was the key here.
Okay. All right. So, you talked about the criticality of these telephony solutions to your customers. I mean, the kind of, the business that they do, the stock market specifically, which has to go on forever. Uh, how exactly, your products make difference in their business? How your solutions make their life easy, let's say, not just life, but of course their business as well.
Right. Yeah. So the solution that we were proposing, or the transformation that we brought was definitely something that we were ready to talk about. So one is in the telecommunication itself, we were using the latest technology. Just to name it, is like the VO, voice over IP. It is a latest technology in the telecommunications or enterprise telephony that was being used, supported by the scalability which is required for the business, and also the security. Means these are the keywords, but generally when you are doing the business now and in the IT field,
Mhm.
these are the key requirements have to be fulfilled. And we brought in these changes, which are now very key to the kind of any of the implementations which happens now. So we were ready with those little ahead of time. That had helped. Secondly, just to give you one example, uh, uh, our solution was using like 10, 12 years back, the fully touchscreen. Now people were used to having a device with the actual physical buttons in front of them. uh, our solution was actually using the buttons in the software on a large size touchscreen. Now this was new. Now before even we could sell our features to the customer, we had to actually convince those customers saying touchscreen works. Like it was little before, like the smartphones actually kind of reached everybody's hands. So we had to specifically actually during our demos like tell people that touchscreen doesn't stop working just like that. It
Mhm.
works. It is not the technology that is necessarily developed by us. There is a lot of good research which has happened in the back, and don't hesitate to just try using it.
Mhm.
Now thanks to Apple and other say Samsung,
Mhm.
in like last 10 years, people have started using these touchscreens on their mobiles so kind of easily.
Yeah,
Now we don't have to even talk about it, but
correct.
definitely that was the phase that we had to kind of sell our story along with this new technology. But now we have the edge because of that. Now our competitors only had to do the catch up with
Mhm.
kind of some of the few advancements that I have mentioned, which we were there kind of little ahead of time.
Yeah, yeah, and I think staying, if not ahead of the time, but at least along the time, I think
Along
is
the
the
time.
is the hallmark of a growing company. And you have been a growing company, Samir. Gemport Technologies. What makes you and your team very proud? If you can just share some success story, I think that would be great.
Yeah. So one thing is, like I mentioned that our team members are well trained.
Hmm.
Now they don't necessarily come from the prominent schools or colleges. Means I have to mention that, because being a new company, we were not in a position to like uh, grab the newcomers or new joinees
Right.
coming from the kind of good prominent colleges. They will
Mhm.
be directly going to Infosys and Wipro's like of company.
True. True.
So having said this, we could bring the kind of best out of them. That's what I could say. The same team who have not necessarily got into these prominent companies, with the right training, by kind of giving them the confidence on what they are doing wonders for our international and the local customers. So this is the one kind of really proud thing about the team, because this is the team that kind of is on the forefront of whatever we are doing. So if we are achieving some success, it is the team success, or like first.
Yeah.
So that is the one thing. Second, also, like while doing this, our there has been some mergers happening in the
Mhm.
kind of our product solution space. The OEM that we were working was taken over by like one of the big competitor
Okay.
of ours. So
Mhm.
that was a very interesting phase, because our competitor was already having a very big partner in India.
Mhm.
So there were possibilities that they could just kind of choose to go with that partner, and we could be out of business. But a few good things that definitely we had done kind of over those years.
Mhm.
We actually replaced that big company uh, to do the complete business of
Mhm.
our existing solution plus the competitor solution in India. So now today we stand at kind of almost doubling our portfolio
Mhm.
and serving not only our existing customers, but also the customers of our competitor technology also in India. So that was a big, I would say, achievement, proud moment for us about 3 years back. It helped us kind of almost doubling our team
Mhm.
size. Of course, it kind of also has a positive impact on the revenue, and moreover the customer base. We
Mhm.
are solidly placed now, and as I said, we are the leader in the Indian market who serve the trading floor telephony, and we are now serving the very global prominent names in the banks and financial institutions along with the Indian names.
Okay, great. I think I really like the way you gave credit to your team. You seem to be more like a people person. Talking about people, you just don't need people to work for you and stay with you, but you also need other people like your vendors, your suppliers. You also mentioned about OEMs. In business, it is always said that you have to really go out, step out, and find those people who are basically going to be part of your ecosystem. Uh, how do you go about that, or how do
Yeah,
Gemport Technologies go about it?
right. Um Yes, when we started, definitely you don't start directly with having the huge sales force, or probably it's the same people uh, who would do multiple jobs.
Mhm.
I probably wear have, or or every hat possible that is required to do to take the company forward.
True.
But not only relying on that, what we did is when we are taking on the existing competition, we had to have the good partner ecosystem with us. It has certain advantages, some of the risks that when you're exposing your technology and the business areas to the bigger companies, they can simply kind of eat into that business also.
Mhm.
But I think something that we relied on our capabilities and the kind of model that we created, by which we could create the prominent system integrator companies who have the larger connections in the industry. So we actually took our sales through through the partnership of these big companies. How it helped, when there we were competing against the established players, our we were also approaching the prospective customers through our prominent partner network.
Mhm.
Uh, so we were not seen that time as a very new company by directly the big kind of banks, because we were supported by the bigger names. So we kind of use that as a kind of front ending
Yeah,
kind of
that gave you the
part
leverage.
that gave us the leverage, that gave us the kind of creating the footprint. And
Mhm.
then now so of course we didn't abandon that kind of model when we have established. So we use the both ways,
Mhm.
uh, by which partners also see a benefit of taking our solution to the customers they are close to. And we are also in a position to approach some of the customers or prospects directly. So
Mhm.
we have been using the mixed model, more of a professionally. It's it requires, because if you are going direct, then you have to be very clear about it with your partners. If you are going through the partners, you have to make sure that they get the kind of right to kind of work with that customer. So
Mhm.
we manage that balancing act professionally. I think that's what is required also in the business,
Mhm.
that you're seen professional by your in your ecosystem, because this is a kind of close community. If you do something wrong, it doesn't take much time to kind of know by the other parties that this is not the kind of company kind of
Right.
plays well. So but we manage that, and that's how we could actually leverage on our partner network, and can kind of started building our own skills step by step.
Mhm. Okay. Samir, in recent times there have been lots of online stocking companies, stock broking companies which are coming, big time. I know we see TV commercials. There are so many online stock broking companies already in place
Right.
compared to, maybe about 10 years back. So that space is obviously growing. People see that there is a lot of potential. So for this industry, how do you predict the future? And specifically for Gemport Technology, what's your growth plan?
Uh, yes, if I talk about the investments going through stocks, mutual fund, India still has very little share
Mhm.
in of investments in these areas. Uh, Now that the interest rates of the banks are
Yeah,
have reduced so much, and they are not going to go up from here. They will
yeah,
only reduce
yeah, yeah.
over the period. Um, Real estate probably not doing great as a kind of an investment option. Investing in various instruments that we mentioned, like stocks, bonds, mutual fund, even the currencies, commodities, are going to be the kind of future options for people to invest. So this is going to only grow exponentially when these kind of retail investments or retail focus starts increasing. It also directly reflects the institutional investments what we do business in. So we are seeing that there will be a lot of small and medium players which don't exist so much the way it exists in the international market, will also grow in India. uh, we are also coming up with the different models by which where every player will not be able to do the huge investments that these big banks are doing. So we are coming up with the sleek model using again the latest technology of a cloud technology. So where all the infrastructure will be in cloud, and the smaller companies or smaller players don't have to invest money in the infrastructure that they have to create to support it. So they could use our services as a on a rental basis, or they can just kind of hire our infrastructure to do the business. So this is also going to be a key where small and medium type of businesses which will grow over the years, they will be also able to get the access to this costly technology, I would say. But the technology they should use to actually grow their business without actually having to upfront invest in the capex. So
Mhm.
that is the kind of good option to kind of have opex options, like operational expense ability to kind of get access to the latest technology. So that also we are making it available for the customers.
Okay. Samir, my final question is, you are highly qualified, immensely experienced, and well-read person. The nature of business, I'm sure, is always keeping you on toes. In other words, you always have to keep current with what's happening around you. Not necessarily just about your industry, but business in general. So, based on your corporate experience and also as a founder of business, what message you would like to give to upcoming entrepreneur and especially the Marathi entrepreneur?
Yeah, thanks for your comments first. But yes, I think especially Maharashtrian or Marathi communities, we are not known for jumping into the business. So there is some kind of always risk
Yes.
averseness
Yeah. Some
to get
hesitation
into
is
the business.
always there.
Yeah. But I would have some couple of messages based on only the experience that I have gone through. So everyone should try doing something of their own in the life. I think they can find out what they're good at, what their passion is at some stage of life. I think everybody should kind of try that. There is a kind of in sports. I know there is a rule of 10,000 hours. It's like you have to spend 10,000 hours to kind of get the expertise.
In business, they say
Say
300
in
days.
business, 3 years, 3 years or 1,000 days. Actually, it
Yeah.
comes to the same. Uh, so the rule is same. Like whether it's a sports or business, I think you need to sustain those initial crucial 3 years. If you can sail through, definitely kind of you will succeed in kind of whatever ways. The another thing which I have seen, uh, money is always miss. That is the key. Yes, miss, for doing the business, you have to get the money. What we have seen is the money comes, but it's not necessarily the money will come where you are actually putting the maximum efforts. But as long as you are invested and you are putting the serious efforts within some of the unknown kind of corner, or not very expected corner in your business, you will get the money. So as long as you are there uh, and doing the business, eventually you will make money. Your business will make money, and yeah, there will be some always positive surprises that also you will get. Um, these are a few things. There is one more thing actually
Mhm.
I would probably like to mention as a last.
Yeah,
Uh,
please.
don't have egos. Like, I also entered business with kind of a lot of ego about probably what you have done or what you feel you have done kind of in the past
Right.
of your education. uh, Very typical of kind of, I would say, I was not used to kind of calling anybody a sahib that easily in the kind of business environment. I was not very kind of comfortable calling somebody a bhai to that matter. But like, the business that we do, like, and it is dominated by the Gujarati entrepreneurs. Very easily you call each other's bhai, but it actually creates a different bond. It took me little time, but some time to, like, definitely realize to use like, Paresh bhai, Mukesh bhai, to use it appropriately as it is required. And also, like, it doesn't hurt me anymore calling anybody a sahib if it is required.
Right.
Like, that was a, I would say, probably bigger learning, because it was by working only for the international companies. I never had to use probably these words or these terms. I was always, like, calling somebody Mr. or only by the single name. But like, like,
So you
yeah,
probably
just
went through a change of character, huh?
I definitely went through the change of character, and just be open to it. It's like,
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
something that you will see that it is required. Don't take it personally and do whatever is required to make your business successful. And then you're through. I think that will be a kind of few key takeaways, I would say,
Yes.
based on my purely personal experience.
Okay. No, I think those are quite relevant, Samir, and thank you for those advices and guidance. I think this program, Marathi Paul Pude, all those people who are listening to this conversation, I think definitely would derive a lot out of your entrepreneurial journey, and the kind of success that you have, marshaled already, and of course your final answer and some tips that you gave. Samir, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to have a conversation with you. I'm so very happy about it.
Yes, thank you, Viman. It was really, I also enjoyed it going over the kind of questions, and you made me actually think over what I went through during the business times. So it was interesting. And thank you very much for your time.